what is the problem? Of course, you understand that males and females will have huge difference in this region. And it is connected with the breast. It is connected with the structures, especially mammary gland, which is located in this region. Because of the deficit of my time, I will try to give for you specificity of both genders together. It means I will speak about layer and I will mention all specificities for both genders. Let's start from the skin. You know, for the males, it is very elastic and very movable type of the skin, which is covering mainly upper portion and near the sternum, near the midline by the hairs, which is contain big amount of sweat and sebaceous gland with one specific region, which is called areola nipple. What is male's specificity of areola nipple? Most pigmented skin, no any glands, no any hairs, and of course not the smooth surface. It can be constricted, dilated, due to the emotional, due to the temperature conditions, due to the stressful situations. So you know that here we have smooth muscular fibers. It is involuntary movement. We cannot regulate it. But you know what is interesting? Of course, males doesn't have any apertures in the nipple. If we will speak about females, we will see that commonly skin is much more elastic than for the males. It contains huge amount of elastic fibers, but it doesn't have its own movement. Sometimes when I say it for you, I see, especially in females' face, I'm confused. They say, how is it possible? Breast is moved. Breast, yes, but skin separately, no. This is very important to understand, guys. Now imagine that me, she, and you, that is 3 layers. If we will be connected to each other by connective tissue septus, we can be moved together. But we will not have separate movement to each other. Breast has such kind of situation. This is very important to understand, guys, because physiologically, if skin of the breast will have big movement towards the deepest located structures, ducts, which is opening the tip of the nipple, can be simply closed. But if now my both hands will be moved together, my right hand will be the gland, my left hand will be the skin, the pen will be the duct, which is come from the gland to skin, and evacuating the meal. It will not be closed forever. Now imagine such kind of 2 movements, 1 and 2nd. Let's say, yeah, you are absolutely right. You can simply move the breast, for example, then you make the feeding of the child, but you will move all layers together. You will not make movement of only skin. Let's say, remember please, if for the males we say skin and elastic, skin and movable, for the females we say skin is much more elastic, but skin doesn't have its own movement. What about areola nipple? It's bigger than for the males. Again, no glands. Again, no hairs, real hairs. And again, not the smooth surface. Again, smooth muscular fibers, which is located under and which is responsible for constriction and dilatation. Huge amount of receptors. That's how I remember. And for males, by the way, and for females, this is the special receptional zone. Under the skin, we describe the fatty tissue. For both genders, we should mention that it's greatly developed. But for males, it is developed in whole region. For females, it was absent in areola nipple. In areola nipple, under the skin, we have the gland with the sinuses, with the ducts. That is very important to understand, and again, it has physiological meaning. Now, imagine that these 3 threads, that is 3 sinuses, which is come from glands, collect finally reach the region of areola. By the way, all these ducts, sinuses, have radiant direction, right? The radiuses from peripheral to the central. And each of these sinus, by its own aperture, opening the tip of the nipple. So you remember, we have approximately 20 ducts. We have approximately 6-7 sinuses because 2-3 ducts fuse to each other. And we have approximately 6-7 apertures, which we call porus lactiferus, and which is located in the tip of the nipple. Just remember, not one aperture, but several apertures we have here. Now, imagine that these 3 persons in these 3 sinuses, and I am the third. Sorry, the more I will be developed, the more I will press them. You understand that accumulation of the fat make the pressure into the down-located structures. Yeah, it is dense, but it is anyhow tissue. And sorry, this pressure can be so much that they can be closed. And if they will be closed, we will have problems with evacuation and immediately inflammational process inside of the breast. Immediately inflammational process, which is called the mastitis, after we study. Is it understandable for you? Then, inside of the fatty tissue, we have several structures. First of all, up to the level of the third rib, we have the platysma muscle, which is covered by the first fascia, which is called the capsule for the platysma, as you remember here. Inside of the fatty tissue, we have superficial vessels and nerves. By the way, like in the neck region, in fat we don't have arteries. Remember the head region, which is contained huge amount of arteries in the fatty tissue. And understand that thorax doesn't belong to such kind of the regions. Inside of fat we have nerves and we have veins. About nerves, 2 origins you can see here, descending and horizontal. Descending will come from neck region, you know, supraclavicular nerves. Medial, middle, and lateral. Yeah? We studied together. And horizontal, of course, it is intercostal. Intercostal main trunks, not located in the fat, of course. But any intercostal nerve gives superficial branch, which is the segmental innervation of the skin, because they are located by the segments. By the way, I want to remind you that 7 inferior intercostal neurovascular bundle descending into your abdominal region. It doesn't finish in the thorax. This is very important to remember. Yeah? 8, 9 above the umbilicus, 10 on the level of umbilicus, and 11, 12 located below the level of umbilicus. This is 7, 8, 9. 9 means 10 and 11, 12, 7 inferior. 6 or 7 different things. Idea is understandable for you guys. That is very important to remember. That's it. We have superficial veins, we have superficial nerves, and finally we have platysma. What about superficial fascia, layer number 3? For the males, guys, this is general part of our superficial fascia, like my right one. It is covered this region, it is descended to another regions, generally divided fat into the layers, forms the capsule like for the platysma, yeah, for both genders, but not for females. For females, it has great specificity, and I will ask you now to write please, the specificities of superficial fascia for females. Point number 1, it forms the capsule for mammary gland. Right, put the point and look to me. What does it mean? Oh, it's so simple. Many times we discuss it, yeah? Single layer, split it into double layers, cover the structure, fuse with the margins. But this is the capsule as a capsule, not capsule as a space. Okay. We don't have any free space, potential space between the gland and between the fascia. That's it. That is just cover the gland and equal to the size of the gland. Structure number 2. From superficial layer of the capsule, very many septas originated and traverse into the inner surface of skin. From anterior or external wall of the capsule, many septas originated. They traverse into the skin, and they divided fatty tissue into pocket structures, into several pockets. In the brackets write, please, all these segments together we call the ligament of Cooper. Cooper's ligament. I think now, friends, you understand why the skin is not movable, because it is fused with the capsule of the gland, in the same time with the fatty tissue. It is make the movement only possible together. This is very important. Remember, please, and write, please, point number 3. Starting from upper pole of the capsule, superficial fascia become to very thick. It is spreading to upwards, and it is fused with the inferior surface of the gland. It is fused with the inferior surface of gland. And it forms the suspensor ligament for the mammary gland, which is called Gerdy's ligament. Gerdy's ligament is written here, you can see. Gerdy's ligament. The ligament of Gerdy. G-E-R-D-I, guys, it's not hard. Gerdy's ligament. Many attention to me. What is the meaning of the ligament? Name it short. It is make the suspension. It is fixing. It is preventing descending of it. By the way, that is the region of the plastical surgical reconstructions. Remember body, Gerdy ligament. This is structure number 3. Continue, please. Structure number 4. Structure number 4. Superficial fascia gives the septus an inside of the gland, which has, again, the direction of the radices, the radial direction, and which is divided the gland into the lobes, up to 20, near the 20. I don't take the marker. Can you give one paper to me to show it for you? I'm useful. Just don't cut it. Can I draw it here? Just thank you very much. Don't speak French.
So we have marker.
Okay, thank you very much. But something like this. You can see the septus, which has the radial direction, and which is divided. I don't draw all 20 lobes, but I think it's understandable. Yeah. So we have the division of all these. I will use it, then I will do it like it. Thank you very much. But so remember, please, this is several important structures. Yeah, we described together 4 structures, which is specific for females and which is absent for the males. So remember it, please. Primary, if I will continue, you can draw it or know how it works. If I will continue my picture, that will be our capsule. That is frontal section. Yeah, we need the section in the frontal plate. Yeah, that is our region of our areolar nipple. That is our lobes. And in the tip of each lobe, we have formation of the duct. Something like this. Now, 2-3 neighboring ducts fuse to each other, and they forms biggest tube, which is called sinus. And finally, sinus come to the tip of the nipple and opening the tip of the nipple by aperture. Let's say, remember, please, ducts, sinuses, and apertures, which is called porus lactiferus. Ductus lactiferus, sinus lactiferus, porus. We call milk evacuation system. So milk, which is produced inside of the lobes, due to these tubes, from these tubes, evacuated from breast to outside
to the
for the
baby.
feeding of the child. Here I want to remind for you the importance of the bichadilous mass, which we discussed for the childhood especially. And again, I mentioned that in that region, we don't have any developed fatty tissue. Fatty tissue for us is absent here. And this is understandable for the females, not for the males. Very well. If you understand it, let's continue. Now, minute attention to you. About arterial supply, of course, I will not speak about histology of the gland. Of course, I will not speak about the milk production or physiological specificities. You study it from another subject. I will attract your attention into the topographical questions of the supplement, of the innervation, and of the lymphatic drainage. I will especially attract your attention into the lymphatic drainage because more than 75 up to 80% of cancer metastases will be passed by lymphogenous way. So you should know very well all possible drainages of the lymph from the gland to be ready to find the jude, of course, but if it will be necessary, to find the evidence of these metastases. Yeah? About arterial supply, primary guys, 3 group of the vessels supplying our breast region. Number 1, it is anterior intercostal, which is originated from thoracic interna. Number 2, it is the posterior intercostal, which is from aorta thoracica. And as you remember, near the middle axillary vein, they make the huge amount of the anastomosis region. And the third group, it is exactly immediately the mammary branches, which is originating from thoracica interna, come to the retromammary space to posterior wall of the capsule and make the supply anterior. About innervation. Innervation also provided by 3 groups of the nerves. Group number 1, it is descending. As I say, it is supraclavicular nerves. They innervated primarily the skin, but they reach approximately the level of third, fourth ring. By the way, minute attention to me. When we describe the borders of the breast, we must mention that it has 4 borders. And from these 4 borders, 2 can be changeable, 2 is constant. The constant border first, it is upper border. Doesn't matter, breast is big or is it small. Upper border, it is usually the level of the third ring. You understand it? Lateral border also is constant, near the level of anterior axillary vein. So once again, upwards third ring, laterally anterior axillary vein. Inferior and medial borders can be changeable, of course, due to the size of the breast. Inferiorly, we say from 6 up to level of 7, sometimes even 8 ribs. So the more will be big, and more will be age of your patient, the more will be descending the breast to downwards. Yeah, can come to the. But friends, then you try to find inferior border. Generally, we palpate it not the inferior margin, but the skin fold, semilunar fold, because breast can be descending up to the belly also, but that doesn't show for us the level of the breast. It is understandable, but this is very important. And medially, guys, it can be between sternal and parasternal levels. So as you can see, inferiorly and medially, border is changeable, superiorly and laterally not so much. Is it understandable for you? Very well. Let's say, then we say about innervation, primary, we speak about supraclavicle, and as I say, it comes to the level of third, fourth ribs, not down. Second group, of course, it is intercostal nerves. You remember, it is the spinal nerves, it is mixed nerves, which is make the innervation. And group number 3, it is the branches, short branches of brachial plexus, and especially here I want to mention nervus thoracicus longus. Nervus thoracicus longus pass together with arteria thoracalis lateralis. They located along the anterior axillary vein, approximately here. And they give the branches into the breast. By the way, artery also gives several branches. I don't mention about it, but it can give the branches also. Is it understandable
Yes.
what it said? We discussed arterial supplement and innervation. Now let's come to next question. Next question, it is the lymphatic drainage. Write the diagram and the name of the diagram, the drainage of the lymph from breast. Now first of all, write please, lymphatic system of the breast divided into two big groups, superficial and deep. A superficial group presented by superficial lymphatic nodes, which is located inside of fatty tissue of the breast region. There's a superficial group presented by superficial lymphatic nodes, which is located in the fatty tissue of the breast region. Open the brackets and write, please. They collected approximately 50% of lymph from the breast. And all these 50% of the lymph drain into the medial, otherwise pectoral, axillary lymphatic nodes. All these 50% of the superficial lymph drain into the medial, we call it also pectoral, group of axillary lymphatic nodes. Finish to write and look to me. As I say you, breast has two lymphatic systems, superficial and deep. Superficial located in fatty tissue. It is collecting half of the lymph from the breast, and all this lymph come here, yes. What does it mean here? I show for you now approximately the place along the middle axillary line, level of the third rib, under the inferior margin of the median pectoral. So from anterior to the middle axillary lines, level
Inferior
of the
margin
third
of the
rib, behind of the anterior margin of the middle
lower part of the pectoral.
pectoral muscle. Idea is understandable?
Yes.
Okay. Very important group of the lymphatic nodes. Biggest lymphatic node, which is located here, we call Zordius, otherwise signaling lymphatic node. 75% of metastases from the breast lymphogenously spreading into the scrotum. Any female should be responsible to make self-palpation. That is very simple. First of all, we make superficial palpation. Then we make palpation deep by quadrants, imaginary divided by two perpendicular lines in the tip of the nipple, into 4 quadrants: superior lateral, superior medial,
Inferior lateral, inferior medial.
We make deep palpation. By the way, palpation is necessary to do in 2 positions: in sitting position and in back position. Because some structures much more better palpated than you sitting, they descended to down. And other structures, especially deep structures, better palpated in the back position, because by gravity forces, breast is pressed into the wall, and the structures which is located much more deeper, they protrude, and you will see much more better the evidence of that. So if superficial structures much more better, you can find in sitting position, deep structures now in back position. And after palpation of the breast, you start to palpate your armpit, and especially the medial wall of your armpit. Then you go to the supra and infraclavicular fossas, because here also we have the lymphatic nodes which can be involved. Well, now little after I will show it for you. In the spreading of the metastases from the breast, region. Is it understandable?
Yes.
Okay, very well. Very well, let's continue. That's it. We understand about superficial system. Now write please, deep system, lymphatic system of the breast, located inside of the breast tissue, collected last 50% of the lymph, and according to division of the gland into 4 quadrants by 2 perpendicular lines, which I mentioned earlier, we describe the sources of the drainage for the deep system, which we will draw now. According to division of the breast by 2 perpendicular lines into the 4 quadrants, we describe the sources for drainage of the deep system. Now let's make this division. 2 crisscross lines from the tip of the nipple. If it will be right breast, this will be upper lateral, upper lower lateral, upper medial, and lower medial. Okay, so we have 4 quadrants here. Upper lateral, upper medial, lower lateral, lower medial. And let's draw now drainage of the lymph. Let's draw now the drainage of the lymph. Upper lateral quadrant. There are 2 main ways for the drainage of the lymph. Way number 1 and way number 2. Right, please. Way number 1, drain less than 10% of the lymph from this quadrant and provide it into the supraclavicular lymphatic class, which is in that region. Way number 2, which is near the 90% of the lymph from this lobe for this quadrant. So go again to the pectoral group of the axillary lymph nodes as the superficial system. The majority of the lymph from this quadrant go to the previously described group of the lymph nodes. Let's continue. Now, lower lateral quadrant. Only single one way, way number 3. Again and again into the pectoral group of the axillary lymphatic nodes. Let's make conclusion, guys. As you remember, I told you before that from 70 up to 75% of the lymph from the breast drain into this group. How it's happened? 50 superficial and half of the deep. Think you understand? Yeah,
yes,
how we calculate it. Very well. Let's continue now. We come to the medial part of our breast. And from upper third, I draw 3 ways. Way number 4, way number 5, and way number 6. Way number 4 you know very well. It is the same way number 1. And the supra-infraclavicular lymphatic class. Way number 5 is new for you. We call the transmammary way from one breast to another. Awful in case of spreading of the cancer. The breasts communicate to each other by a lymphatic system, especially only for upper medial portion. And other parts doesn't have communication. But especially from this portion, we can have spreading of the cancers from one side to another side by lymphogenous way. And the last way, 6th one, I show by point. Why? Because it is immediately directed to inside. We call it, by the way, way number 5 we call transmammary way. And way number 6 we call transthoracic way of the drainage. It's a transmammary, it is to the opposite breast, transthoracic inside of the mediastinal lymphatic nodes, into the thoracic cavity. And finally, let's come to the last medial inferior. Here I will draw only two veins, vein number 7 and vein number 8. Vein number 7, guys, we call transthoracic vein. It is the same to the vein number 6. It is again go to the mediastinal lymphatic nodes and drain inside of them. By the way, awful way for spreading of the cancer, because you understand that the wall cancer become to cavity cancer. That is the big problem. Vein number 8, we call abdominal way of the drainage. Open the brackets and write, please. It is drained into the lymphatic nodes of anterior abdominal wall. And from the region of umbilicus, along the round ligament of liver, first we write, then I will explain. Along the round ligament of the liver, they communicated by the hilum of the liver. They communicated with the hilum of liver. That is very important information, guys. You see now the single part of the breast which by lymphogenous way can be communicated with the liver. Let's say we can have the metastasis from the breast, which immediately by this way spread it into the region of the liver. Remember about it, please. 1 minute.